उमज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So here we are seeing, continuing with the instructions of Lord Kapila to his mother Devavati. In this verse, Kapila Muni is explaining about how the Supreme Lord, in whatever way his worshipper approaches him, whatever his desires are, the Lord fulfills it. We have sufficiently heard from the teachings of Srila Prabhupada that the Supreme Lord, He is known or He is understood by different categories of spiritualists in different ways. There is one category, the Jnanis, who are into speculative knowledge. They are more inclined towards going and merging into the existence of the Supreme Lord, and the Lord allows it. There is another category of spiritualists who are known as yogis. They also get the chance of seeing the Supreme Lord in their very hearts as Paramatma, the Super Soul. The Lord gives this opportunity, and it is only for the devotees or bhaktas the Supreme Lord is known, is understood, is seen in all of His fullness. The Lord, with all of His opulences, as Srila Prabhupada mentions in the purport, the 6 opulences of wealth, fame, knowledge, renunciation, strength, and all of these, Aishwaryasya, Samagrasya, Viryasya, Yashasa, Shriya, Jnana, Vairagya, Yoshchaiva, Shannam, Bhaga Itingana. We have heard. So it's only for the devotees the Lord can be understood in all of His fullness with all of these opulences. For others, it's only partially the Lord reveals Himself. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada mentions that the Lord, He can bestow any one of them upon the worshipper. So as I told you, there are many kinds of worshippers, and as the worshipper's desire, the Lord reciprocates or responds. During Srila Prabhupada's time, Prabhupada, when he was in India, he traveled across, like he had his pharmacy in Allahabad, Prayag. He was traveling to Delhi, he was traveling to Bombay. Once Prabhupada went to Madras for different various preaching activities. To Jhansi, opened a center. He came across a lot of people, when rich people, influential people, Srila Prabhupada met. And as we devotees, we also have this experience, especially preachers. Rich people, we go for donations, and they appreciate very much. Oh, Swamiji, nice work you are doing. all those things they appreciate. But they'll be having some different concepts of God. Some people question, why you worship only Krishna? Why other devatas also we can worship? Okay, anyhow, good. All gods are one. Ultimately, any god you worship, ultimately we reach that impersonal Brahma Jyoti. Some concepts, many things they have. Of course, some people we may be able to convince. Many of them they'll not be ready to listen also. If they listen to us, we can try to convince them. Some may be convinced and some may not be also, with the teachings of Krishna consciousness philosophy. So likewise, there was one Sethji in Mumbai, then Bombay. So Srila Prabhupada had met him, and likewise, like he had requested for help and all of those things. And as usual, many people promise, yes, I'll help you. All these things had happened. After that, Srila Prabhupada left the Western world to America, and there, after 3 years, almost 2.5, 3 years of struggle, Srila Prabhupada had managed to establish 6 centers in the Western world. At that point of time, in the year 1968, in the month of February, all of a sudden, he receives one letter from that Sethji of Bombay. His name was Hari Krishna Das. Hari Krishna Das Seth. So he received one letter, and that Sethji very nicely he appreciates all the works of Srila Prabhupada, and specifically he points out your teachings that there should be one God, one mantra to be chanted, one book of knowledge, and one activity. I very much appreciate. The Sethji writes in that letter. And for that, and then the Sethji asks also, so what is your plan for Bombay? Long ago you had met me and you had to do all this preaching work, establish a center and all of these things. I am also ready to help you. What plans do you have? So in this way, that Sethji had written one letter to Srila Prabhupada, and Prabhupada received it when he was in Los Angeles, and then Prabhupada also replies to that letter. In that reply letter, Srila Prabhupada thanks him, and he says that yes, one scripture, one God, one mantra, this is not my teachings or whatever, this is what is mentioned in Gita Mahatmya. Eko Devaha Devaki Putraha Ekam Geetam, like that, whatever Prabhupada says, it's not my teachings, this is what the Vedic literatures say. And all these things happen. And Srila Prabhupada also says that yes, I am very much eager to spread this Krishna consciousness. So you also help me get one Sankirtan party ready in India, so that I bring some American disciples from the Western world, and along with the Indians, together, if they perform Sankirtana and travel throughout the world, it will have a great impact for our movement. So all these proposals Srila Prabhupada gives, and one point Prabhupada mentions. So in that letter, Srila Prabhupada writes, another thing you have written to say, that is, he's referring to, he's quoting what the Sethji had written to Prabhupada. Quote, if you keep the gates of names and forms open to ultimately realize the formless, would be entitling in a larger number of persons to your mission. Unquote. That means that Sethji is referring to like how if you keep the gates of the names and forms open whatever varieties of names, varieties of forms, to ultimately realize the formless, then more number of people you can get for your mission, for your missionary activities. Because Srila Prabhupada was not like this. You worship anything, any god, any form, any name. No, they were very specific. This mantra, worship Krishna, all of these things. So he's telling, if you can open the gates, then more number of followers you can get for your mission. Let us see what Srila Prabhupada replies. Prabhupada says, my point is one God. Ultimately, you want to merge in the formless, or you want some material facilities, or you want to serve Krishna as his personal associate. Never mind. Whatever you want, you worship one God, Krishna, and not bothering with the ultimate gain. The ultimate gain can be achieved as one desires. Krishna is all powerful. So if somebody wants material gain from Krishna, it is not difficult for him to award such benediction. Similarly, if anyone wants to merge in the impersonal Brahman effulgence, formless, he can also award that facility. In the same way, if anyone wants to associate with Krishna in 5 transcendental relationships, he can award also that facility. So, my point is that whatever you want at the end, that doesn't matter, but you worship Krishna and he will award whatever you desire. So this is our philosophy. You want to merge into the existence of God? Yes, the Lord allows it. Yes, there is His Brahma Jyoti. You can go and merge into His existence. Or you want some material benediction, some opulence, riches, something in this material world? Yes, the Lord can award that also. Is it that He is not powerful to give those benedictions, material benedictions? No. The Lord is all powerful. He is fully opulent, fully strong. Whatever a devotee wishes, he can benedict. Similarly, if anyone wants to serve Him as his associate in any of the 5 transcendental mellows, starting with Shanta, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, Madhurya, Krishna allows that also. So in whatever category you may belong to, worship Krishna. Akama sarvakamo va mokshakama udaradihi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. This is what Srila Prabhupada mentions in the purport. It is recommended in the 2nd canto of Bhagavatam that whether one is a devotee or fruitive actor or liberationist, if he is intelligent enough, he should engage himself with all seriousness in the process of devotional service. So whatever we want, anything, let it be with all seriousness, with single pointed attention, focus. We need to worship Krishna. This is what the Bhagavatam says. Akama sarvakamo va mokshakama udaradi tivrena bhakti yogena. See, this tivrata is required with all seriousness. Just yesterday's class we were hearing, there was Prabhu telling about one Olympic badminton player. So this badminton can be played as a hobby, just for some recreation, to get refreshed, once in a week or twice in a week for few hours, get refreshed and get back to work. So these sports can be played in that way also. The same badminton can be played 8 hours a day, 7 days a week, all 365 days, without weekends, week off, without taking any holiday, sacrificing all bodily comforts, sacrificing all relationship with family, going somewhere far away, with all seriousness, practice, practice, practice. Finally become eligible to go represent the country, maybe in some international forums, and play and bring laurels to the country. See, there is a difference. Both are playing badminton, both are playing some sports, but with what intensity matters. So you want some material benefit, you want some especially like mental peace, shanti. If I chant Hare Krishna, yes, I'll become peaceful, I become happy. Yes, well and good. Continue. Read some 1 or 2 shlokas of Bhagavad Gita, memorize that. Very good, apply it in your life. Very good. Apply some principles of whatever Krishna consciousness in life, the principles of cleanliness, no meat eating, no intoxication. Yes, lot of benefits are there. Very good. But that's not all in all. Krishna consciousness can be practiced in this manner also. And Krishna consciousness can be practiced with full seriousness, chanting attentively, offenselessly, following all the regulative principles strictly, dedicating one's life for the mission of the Lord, living in the association of devotees irrespective of whatever troubles comes to us, preaching the mission of the Lord, all of these things. So there is some intensity in it. It is not something simple, it's not something ordinary, and everybody cannot. So what is Bhagavatam recommending? Tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. So we have to worship the Supreme Lord with this intensity, with this tivrata. Then whatever the Lord, ye yata mam prapadyante tamstataiva bhajamiham. The way you surrender, the way you worship the Supreme Lord, the Lord reciprocates accordingly. You surrender 100%, there will be 100% reciprocation. You surrender little, 5%, 10%, 1%. Okay, that 1% benefit, actually that's good, rather than not surrendering. But ultimately it's left to the devotee how he wants to worship or surrender to the Supreme Lord. Then, one more point let us see from the purport. Prabhupada says, ultimately, to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one has to accept Bhakti Yoga. By executing Jnana Yoga or Dhyana Yoga, one has to eventually approach the Bhakti Yoga platform. So this is also very important. It's not that only through speculative knowledge, only through performances of various some gymnastics of the body, some mental speculation, some intellectual adjustments, can we understand Krishna? No. Krishna very clearly says it is only through bhakti or devotion we can understand Him. Naham prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samavritaha. I am not exposed to everyone. By my yogamaya curtain, others, they'll not be able to see me. And how can people see me? Two places, especially in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says. One in the 11th chapter, Krishna says at the end, Bhaktya tu ananyaya shaktya Ahamevam vidho Arjuna Jnatum drashtum cha tatvena Veshtum cha parantapa. My dear Arjuna, only by undivided devotional service, see, bhaktya-tu ananyaya, undivided devotional service. If our devotion is divided, little for my family, little for my country, little for my personal, little for this and that, then that whatever, this benefit won't be there. Bhaktya-tu ananyaya shaktya. Only by undivided devotional service can I be understood as I am, standing before you, and can thus be seen directly. Only in this way can you enter into the mysteries of my understanding. Another place in the 18th chapter we have heard sufficiently. Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tatvatah. It's only by devotion, devotional service, you can understand me as I am. Tatvatah. Without devotion also we can understand Krishna, but in maybe one of his feature, impersonal, as impersonal Brahma Jyoti, as his Paramatma feature, or any other way we can understand. But if at all we want to understand Krishna in his fullness, it is only possible by bhakti or devotional service. One more last point we'll cover. At the end of the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes about what should be the goal of our life, objective in our life, what should be the aim of our life. Prabhupada quotes from the Vishnu Purana, Vishnur Brahma Svarupena Swayameva Vyavastitaha. Brahman's real feature is Vishnu, or the Supreme Brahman is Vishnu. So as devotees we should make very clear. In the Vedic literatures, all these terminologies are used. Brahman, Param Brahman. So all of these are ultimately referring to Vishnu or Krishna. Then, Swayam Eva, that is his personal feature. The supreme spiritual conception is the supreme personality of Godhead. It is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Yad Gatva na nivartante tad dhama paramam mama. That specific abode called paramam mama is the place from which once one attains, one does not return to this miserable conditional life. Every place, every space, and everything belongs to Vishnu. But where he personally lives is Tadhama Paramam, his supreme abode. One has to make one's destination the supreme abode of the Lord. So this is what Prabhupada has to say here. Everything belongs to the Supreme Lord. Every space, every place is the property of that one Supreme Lord. And through the Vedic literatures, especially through the Bhagavad Gita, we understand that yes, that one Supreme Lord is Vishnu or Krishna. And everything belongs to him. Though everything belongs to him, the Lord has got his own personal abode in the spiritual sky. And this reference we get in the Bhagavad Gita. Many places Krishna says, Tadhama Paramam Mama, where there is no requirement of the sun or moon to illuminate, and after going where a person is not required to come back to this material world, that personal abode of mine. Krishna says this. And going to that abode, that supreme abode of the Lord should be our objective goal. One has to make one's destination the supreme abode of the Lord. See, any other desire we keep, oh, there is a lot of sufferings in this material world, and all of these sufferings, somehow, let me approach the Lord, try to mitigate this suffering. These sufferings are due to lack of power, lack of money, lack of some facilities. Oh, go pray to the Lord and request Him for some facility, material facilities, power, resources, so that by getting that I'll be happy. No, you won't be happy. These things should not be the goal of life, one's life. Or my bodily existence itself is the cause of suffering. So let me make it zero. No, that should also not be the goal of our life. Okay, let me go and merge into the existence of the Supreme Lord, because I'm individual. Because of this being individual, I have clashes with other individuals. So when this individuality is completely wiped off, then I'll be happy. So let me go and merge into the existence of God. No, this should also not be the goal of our life. The goal of one's life should be to serve the Supreme Lord in His abode, going back to Godhead. If at all the Lord wants us for His mission, for His purpose, to continue our stay in this material world, devotees will be ready for that. But otherwise, the goal, the destination, the objective is to go back to God, go home, back to Godhead. So we'll conclude with this. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki,